preparing for this oral presentation, I was reading about him. I was absolutely amazed. I was so inspired. You know, I became professor 5 days back, and very cynical one at that, because you know, lack of space, funding, and red tapeism, so many problems are, we are facing so many problems. So a disheartened and disillusioned professor. But when I was reading about him, I was so inspired that here is a man who comes from abroad, a well-trained scientist, a brilliant mind, and he has to face racial discrimination here, but he doesn't give up. He doesn't get disheartened. He doesn't get disillusioned. He works for 3 years without taking his salary and you know, spending from his own pocket for his research. And in that sense, you know, he's a true satyagrahi. I am very I really am very impressed with this thing that you all have included. The organizers have included this satyagrahi name in the title of your conference. That is very good, because we scientists are actually, we should be satyagrahis. We are seekers of the truth, right? So we should be, हमें सत्य के लिए आग्रह करना चाहिए. So he was a true scientist in that sense, and this is something that I've learned from him. And so I am standing in front of you all. I am the example of his contemporary relevance, because he is relevant to us. We have not gone abroad, and sometimes you think that was it a mistake or all that. And then when you read about scientists like J.C. Bose, P.C. Ray, then that inspires you and fills your heart with hope and pride that yes, we should also do something for our country. Next thing that I would say we can learn from his life, and in terms for modern like Indian science scenario, is the concept of original thought. And you know what, I have to say this, I hate saying this, but see, India tops in the list of corresponding authors that are publishing in predatory journals, right? 27% of our corresponding authors are publishing in predatory journals. Now that is not something to be proud of, and original thought and is very important. And I'm not passing judgments on anyone. In fact, my student comes to me and says, ma'am, इसमें एक moiety change कर देंगे तो एक और paper publish हो जाएगा. This kind of thinking is plaguing us today, plaguing Indian science, and we must do something about that, and we should take inspiration. Scientists like, you know, we should look at our scientific heritage for inspiration. And the fact that at that time he could think that, you know, plants have feelings, I will prove this, and he built an instrument, crescograph. That was the example of original thought. So we should not be swayed with this publish or perish phenomena, and we should strive for you know, thinking something originally, because it is my belief, see, science is a global phenomena, that's right, but it's my belief that the problems of India, they can be solved. Indian scientists have to put their brilliant minds, and you know, they have to really work hard for solving Indian problems like scarcity of food, scarcity of water, or pollution is a big problem. So for that we have to look inwards, we have to be proud of our cultural, our scientific heritage, and then we should try to find answers. That won't be possible if we just follow the herd mentality. So we must take inspiration from people like J.C. Bose. He was very critical of patent system. His like under peer pressure he filed for a patent, but then he didn't follow that up. So he was very critical of it. He said knowledge should be free for all. So that kind of altruism is what is needed in today's science, especially with relevance to India also. Yeah, so this is also very important. I am not saying that every scientist can be a very good science communicator, but we must try to you know, engage our young audience. This is also a sad reality that the interest of students in pursuing higher education is dwindling, and that is also one of the worries of Indian government. So how to do that? That is our responsibility, the responsibility of scientists. And here also Acharya J. Bose is very relevant. He is known as the father of Indian Bengali fiction. So he wrote this story, Nirudeshar Kahini, and all these Palatak Tufan. So these kind of things, we should also, if we have a knack of this, I'm not saying every scientist can do this, but we must, you know, try to develop this, and we must try to in our classes, otherwise also we must try to popularize science and be good at science communication. this is very relevant to modern Indian science. Plant science. He proved that plants have feelings. Now this is slightly like, you know, maybe you all may find it very emotional, but the thing is, yes, plants have feelings, and this is very, very contemporary, because if we do not save our plants, if we do not, we can't save our earth. And this is the need of the hour to understand the relationship between man and nature. He was really rooted in nature, prakriti ka, nature ka. J.C. Bose was very inspired from it, and he was deeply rooted in that. So we must also take inspiration from that. And environment, for environment, this is, we have to do something about it. We are living in one of the pollutest city of the world. So we have to, you know, arise compassion for plants, for nature as such, and that is also one of the legacy of J.C. Bose that we can learn from. One thing, I may be not politically correct to say this, but we have to see scientists like P.C. Ray, scientists like J.C. Bose, they were true patriots, and they were not, you know, they were not jingoistic, कि सब कुछ ancient technology में everything is good and all that. They were deeply rooted in their ancient philosophy. For example, J.C. Bose was, his favorite character from Mahabharata was Karna, and all those things. But the thing is, they were there is a difference between patriotism and jingoism, and science should steer clear from this. For example, I hate saying this, but people are publishing now Go-Mutra, so many research projects on that. I'm not saying it is not important, and maybe there are some medicinal properties, but are we really, everyone is going, there were so many research projects on it, so is it really that important, or are we just going, as they say, jidhar ki hawa chali udhar ke hi ho liye? A scientist cannot be that. A scientist has to have conviction. So, you know, so you should strive for that. So that real patriotism you should learn from scientists like J.C. Bose, and we should avoid jingoism. So these are the references, and contemporary relevance of J.C. Bose in his own words. He says, but the past shall be reborn in a yet nobler future. So let us strive for that nobler future. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am.